Good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to share with you another edition of the Congresso Internacional Cespe. And I'm here on behalf also of the Italian group of Cespe. And I want to introduce you in my presentation that will be about transcultural postures and artistic languages, community gazes, and social ecology in a Kenyan experience. My name is Rosita De Luigi. I'm an associate professor in education, general, community, and intercultural education at the University of Macerata, Italy. First of all, I want to introduce you the main framework of the project. That is the TPIA project. It's a European project on transcultural perspectives in art and art education. And I choose this contribution because it's investigating contemporary art in Europe and East Africa and forms of art education on both continents in a transcultural perspective. This is really important in order to understand which is the main design of our project, since I will share with you just a small part of the project. The research approach is setting up the theoretical and practical dialogue, recognizing mutual artistic and cultural influences between Europe and East Africa. And at the same time, the hypothesis is valuing cultural heritage and opening it for modern transformations on community and social development. In this process, intercultural dialogue and education have a key role, especially with the local communities, in order to foster a mutual understanding. Of course, the risk of interpreting others' people thinking with categories deemed like universal is quite high. And to counter process of colonization of ideas, the project's approach is transcultural from reflection to the generation of shared action. The transcultural perspective research on art and art education started in 2021 within the TPI project by a consortium of academic and non-academic institutions from Poland, Italy, and Kenya, and all the institutions through international and intersectoral mobility till 2024 are investigating art, culture, and cultural heritage in several communities. In this way, transcultural perspective is also a strategy for the reduction of egocentrism, logocentrism, and ethnocentrism, and is essential to appreciate cultural diversity and to recognize the importance of defending and promoting tangible and intangible cultural heritage directly in the experience. One of the project aims concerns the realization of an art festival in Kenya, thanks to the collaboration of Kenyan and Polish artists in several fields. From 2021 to date, 3 editions of the festival were held in Kilifi, Kenya. As you can see on the map, Kilifi is on the coastal region of Kenya in the east southern part, and is a urban town with several rural areas. And our project was delivered in one of the rural areas that is called Ngala village. And the last version was also held in Mombasa, but I will focus my intervention on the Kilifi perspective. And the University of Macerata team curated the kids session of each festival in collaboration with schools, local educational agencies, and other project partners. So the kids session was another part of the festival in integration with it, of course, more focus on younger generation. And I want to give you an overview of artistic workshop experiences in Kenya, and you will see several pictures in the presentation. And the third edition of the kids session was in February-March 2023 in Kilifi, in partnership with Nyota ya Asubuhi Kononia community. Nyota ya Asubuhi is a Kiswahili name that means morning star. And we work also in Mombasa with the collaboration of Swahili Pot Foundation. Kids and adolescents, teenagers investigated the theme of social ecology that was the theme of the third edition of the festival after community and women empowerment through different artistic languages, exploring territories, making small videos, taking photographs, drawing, painting, and experimenting with cooperative and self-organization games. The design and the development of activities required a consolidation of the already existing cooperation that took into account the needs of research and of the social context. Sharing learning process, educational paths required that the researcher, teachers, educators involved to work together, agreeing on participatory methodological choices and reflecting on the results achieved in itinerary. In a way, I could say that the strongest intangible cultural heritage of the Kids Session was precisely the alliance between educational agencies and researchers that was established through direct relationship and experiences. Of course, this is an outcome that cannot be verified in a tangible way, but it's a process of mutual value appreciation and co-construction of educational communities ready to be militant on behalf of kids and teenagers. In the different experiences, the research team of University of Macerata, in collaboration with Puani University students and the educational local teams, involved more than 100 kids and teenagers who expressed their creativity as active protagonists. The biggest challenges in the realization of the third edition of Kids Session of the Duo Festival TPI concerned, from a practical point of view, the scheduling of activities in the various educational centers in the urban area of Mombasa and in the rural area of Kilifi, logistics and materials preparation. From a scientific point of view, the declination of the research action paradigm from theory to practice and the sharing of the team's social ecology between different cultures and generations. And from a methodological point of view, the focus on the possibility of activating participatory and creative process for all and on gathering information, data research, and feedback for all the subjects involved. The Duo Kids Session aim is to involve kids, families, schools, and communities in meaningful creative and artistic experiences, and the TPI partners organize mixed group of researchers, artists, teachers, educators, students, and volunteers of local associations in order to develop in these 3 years and these 3 different editions educational activities and artistic workshops for kids and schools. The cooperative approach was developed through several artistic languages, discovering local contexts and ways of expression, and the development of edutainment experiences in which participatory education is supported by entertainment and social animation provided an enjoyable time and meaningful time and experiences with the way of creating and having an experience together. The Duo Kids Session, it was really an occasion in which we focus our analysis on 3 different aspects. The first one is the impact of the research action paradigm and shared reflection to identify relevant moments of transformative learning. The second one is the value and challenges of transcultural postures and the need for decolonial decentralization in the construction of reflective processes and collective educational action. The third one is the impact of community dynamics and the functions of ecological narratives by kids and teenagers through artistic languages. Let's see the methodological approach. You can see here in this slide 5 key points. The first step was sharing of educational research action guidelines with the project team through scheduled meetings. The second step was the analysis of social educational needs, resources, and planning of activities, open dialogue with local educational agents, and planning of workshops. Of course, phase 1 and phase 2 are together and are really intertwined. The third step was the implementation of activities with kids and teens, and the important goal here is listening to the voice and creativity of kids and teenagers and give back them voice. The fourth step is the feedback collection after each activity. So it's an ongoing debriefing time with the work group. And the last step is the final feedback at the end of the research process through the scheduled meetings. So let's focus on Kilifi experiences of 2023. The first step, sharing of educational research action, involved the research team of the University of Macerata, the educators of Nyota Yasubui Kononia community in Kilifi, and the Puani University students. Investing time in understanding which process to activate and how to promote the participation of kids, teens, and young people was essential to raise awareness on the theme of social ecology in a logic of co-responsibility in the balance between people and environment, and to offer real experiences of community self and co-organization. The second step, the analysis of socio-educational needs and resources, needs a pre-step, that is this one. We are in this context since 2017, so we have a really strong connection with the social environment, with the schools, and with the center of education. So we anticipate some of the analysis already before the design of the research. And this is really important in order to deliver a research path that is really connected with the local context. So the analysis of socio-educational needs and resources took place thanks to local experts. The dialogue with the educators of Nyota Yasubui, Bernardine by Ken Nyangwezo, was essential to design action that responded to reality and to encourage educational paths useful to the community. The greatest interest was to guarantee kids' quality experience in which their protagonism and participation could be supported by many creative and expressive languages. Then, about the implementation of activities with kids and teens, we used several languages in the realization of the artistic and creative workshop with the kids. In this way, each child was able to explore the balance between humans and the environment, and also the balance between humans and humans, in a way that can remember us the frame of peer education, and the ways in which communities relate to the context in different ways. The tools used were artistic drawing, the creation of images and small videos by the participants, cooperative games and body expression, the creation of a community artifact as the final expression of the experience, and the focus of participants was not only in the realization of the action, but in giving the kids and their narratives a voice. Recognizing the power of kids and adolescents' thinking puts them in a position to make an effective impact in their life context. It becomes essential, therefore, to support communities of adults who can critically address kids in the attribution of value, dignity, and rights. Moreover, experiences shared learning across gender, generations, and cultures open up acceptance, counteracts the stereotypes and prejudice, support the ability to think out of the box, and improve social ecology logics in which the dynamics are ethically win-win outside of every kind of borders. Finally, about the feedback, the ongoing feedback and the final feedback, the collection of qualitative feedback characterized the entire project and allowed the working group to periodically discuss and assess and also highlight critical aspects, values, and learnings from the experience. A fundamental element is the non-standardization of the information, but rather the reflexive reworking of it on the basis of tools such as the briefing meeting, an in-depth interview, open conversation, problematization as places and times for making reflexivity explicit. And you can see here some shoot of the team and the way of work together digitally and also manually, face-to-face and online. It was really important to be really connected with the local needs and resources and in a way in which was possible to deliver meaningful and impact action for the context with the context. So about the final reflections, the research action approach made it possible to welcome more voices, opinions, ideas, and reflections, and to create intercultural mediation in which everyone offered an original contribution, starting with the recognition and enhancement of skills, knowledge, and attitudes. This approach was taking care of both in planning phase with young people and adults and the implementation phase of the workshop with kids and teenagers. The involvement has increased over time, also thanks to the human and experiential relationships that have been consolidated in the work group and with the kids. The field research has this kind of effects if the time is enough and the space of reflection is already planned from the beginning. In this way, the learning process has proved to be transformative on various aspects related to individual and collective responsibility towards the construction of inclusive communities. The dialogue between researchers and educators was essential to deconstruct a static posture of research and an action, and to find original mediation, listening to what emerged step by step from the experience and direct contribution of the kids of Nyoto Yasobui and the Puani students. Not remaining steadfast on a single idea, but designing multiple work possibilities, supported articulated workshops full of novelties and innovation made up of shared site-specific discoveries. Relational and experiential proximity has generated a climate of pluralism and sharing of suggestions useful for enriching the cultural heritage and values of all the subjects involved. The protagonism of the kids was also supported by the research team, as well as by the peer coaching and supported of the UNMC PhD students Miriam Kuku and the Puani University students Calvi Wamba, Sheila Wendo, Mercy Mwende, and Lydia Moqueira from the field of education and ecology. And it's really important to name them in the process because it was teamwork. Having an interdisciplinary, intergenerational, and cross-cultural team fostered the development of a cross-cultural approach open to pluralism and originality. This has led to the possibility of constantly reviewing actions and redesigning ideas in motion. Awareness raising was constantly monitored throughout the kids session and concerned all subjects, adults, young, and kids, since intentionally from the start of the experience, the participatory approach was proposed as an integral perspective. It was not like something more that we have to do, but it was like the embodiment of the research. This has allowed the emergence of generative themes and action on multiple systemic, relational, ecological, educational, and social levels. The kids' narratives were valued with the desire to learn with them and by them, and to offer new educational and community paths. In this way, plural vision of the world and being with the world, as Freire said, took concrete form, spatial, temporal, bodily, and expressive, and the amazement and curiosity aroused the interest of the working group as facilitators of new cross-cultural discoveries. Art thus becomes a transcultural language in which to create, communicate, and produce new narratives and representation in a creative way. Finally, the shared experience of being all original and authentic subjects leads to the exploration of ways of educational research rooted in communities, as complex, interdependent system in perennial movement. I'm really grateful for this occasion. These are the main references on which was based my speech. And thanks again. You can find here my contact, and I will share with you several ideas about transcultural postures and artistic languages, since this project and other project with this Educational Alliance are still ongoing. And so we will have occasion to discuss more, and maybe also in person or directly with interaction with this kind of field of research, that it's really focused on the participation and the possibility to give voice to each subject. And in this sense, also be focused on the rights of the kids is one of the main goals of this kind of the possibility of expression. Thanks a lot again, and enjoy the conference.